Hello, welcome back. In our last video, we're trying to look at how to calculate cost of equity when growth is given to you. And in that video, we mentioned that there are two methods of calculating growth. And the first one we said is the historical method or the extrapolation method. And the second method we said is the Gordon's growth model. Today, we are going to be looking at an illustration, right, on how to calculate cost of equity when we are given growth scenarios. All right, so this question will be displaying on your screen now. Please pause this video, screenshot the question so you can follow appropriately. All right, so I'll be reading the question and then I'll bring out the details of this question out and then we'll solve it together. The name of the question is Henry PLC. Henry PLC. Henry PLC. Henry PLC has appointed you to help determine its cost of equity. You are provided with the following information. Statement of financial position extract as at the end of the current year is given in $1 million. So we have ordinary share. We are given, this is 100 kobo, which is same thing as 1 naira. So the statement is given in million naira. So million. Ordinary share, they told us is 20,000. We have retained earnings. Don't forget that retained earnings, this is an accumulated value, right? Retained earnings, not for the period. All right, remember this is statement of financial position. And any value you see in this statement of financial position represent cumulative value, not for the period. And so that means this retained earning is over the years. All right. So and the retained earning value is 671,480. And then we have this is total equity. Total equity. And they gave us is 691,480. What else do we have? We have EPS, earnings per share. EPS is earnings per share. And now is this calculated? EPS is calculated as profit after tax divided by number of shares. Number of shares. And the current EPS here, they told us is 2.45 naira. And then they said the total dividend declared. Total dividend declared is 12,850. And then they said dividend, the dividend paid 5 years ago was 10. So dividend paid, they told us 5 years ago. And they said it was how much? 10,870 naira. And then the current share price, that's the MPS. Currently, the MPS is 6.48. Okay, so remember that this MPS, when you are calculating your cost of equity, we said the MPS X div is what we're actually looking at, right? So this value is assumed to be cum div. Cum div means that the current dividend has just been paid or declared has not been adjusted on this market price. And so when we are trying to calculate our cost of equity, we'll factor in the dividend for the period and take it out of this to get the ex-div market price of shares. And now let's look at the question. The question says we should determine the cost of equity. All right, using the first one, the historical method, and then the second is the Gordon's growth model. All right, basically this is the question. So let's quickly dive in. So the A part of this question, A part, cost of equity. Cost of equity. All right. Remember, we said KE, when you have growth, in this case now we automatically have growth, right? So anytime they start giving you dividend trend or they give you the profit for the year, retained earnings, they know that you are required to actually calculate your growth. All right. So when you have growth, our KE becomes D0 into 1 plus G divided by MPS x div, then plus G. This is our formula for calculating cost of equity where you have a growth situation. All right. The first thing we need to do is to get our dividend and also to get our growth, and then to adjust that dividend on the MPS, and then we move on to the cost of equity. Very simple. No thinking is required. Now look at our D0 equals to, how do we get our dividend? Look at the total dividend that has been declared is 12,850. 12,850, and then our number of shares equals to 20,000. So our D0 equals to 12,850 divided by 20,000. So if I divide 12,850 by 20,000, that should be 0.6425. All right. This is our dividend. Now we have gotten this guy. The next thing is to get our MPS x div. So our MPS x div equals to our current MPS minus dividend declared. All right. So our MPS here becomes, current MPS is they gave to us is 6.48 minus dividend 0.6425. So our MPS x div equals to 5.8375. The next thing I need to do now is to calculate my growth. All right. And my growth using historical method. And according to historical method, our growth is root of n minus 1 latest dividend divided by the earliest dividend minus 1. So now, from the question, we're told that dividend paid 5 years ago. Anytime examiner says that dividend is paid 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, please, if you are using this method, all you need to do is to add 1 to it. So what we need to do here, since they told us it's 5 years ago, it means it will now be 6. Our observation becomes 6. If you are told it's 7 years ago, observation will become 8. If you are told 2 years ago, observation will become 3. Please take note of that. So from this question, we're told that dividend was paid 5 years ago, and this was the amount, 10,870. All right. So that means our G becomes root of 6 minus 1. Don't forget, I got this 6 by adding 1 to this 5. Don't forget. Latest dividend. Our latest dividend is the one that has just been declared, which is 12,850 divided by the one they paid, the earliest one they paid 5 years ago is 10,870, then minus 1. Okay, you can also decide to do this in per share basis. You divide this on 12,850 by 20,000, you get this guy, and then also divide this on. We're assuming that there's no script issue or anything, so the dividend number of shares is constant, and so it doesn't have any effect. So either ways, you get the same answer. So in this case, we have 12,850 divided by 10,870, right? So we have this becomes fifth root. So let me clean up here. So this becomes G equals to fifth root of 1.1 82, then minus 1. All right, so if I do this effectively, I should have, if you're having issues on how to calculate or use this on your calculator, regardless of the type of calculator, please comment, and then I will try to provide clarification on it. So if you do this, I get this, then minus 1. That's 0.034. And then my growth rate becomes 3.4%. So now that I have my growth rate, I can simply just calculate my KE now. KE equals, so my dividend now is 0.6425 into 1 plus 3.4% divided by the market price ex div is 5.8375, then plus my growth 3.4%. And then if you do this effectively, 14.78%. All right, so that's that for this A part using the historical method. The next one is to now use Gordon's model.